Imagine being so skinny that at 6'2", you weighed just 98 pounds. Your spine was literally curving. Kids at school saw you as an easy target, and a doctor basically told you, if you don't start lifting now, this could get much worse. That was David Lade at 14. Before the YouTube fame, before the sponsorships, and long before anyone was throwing around numbers like $3 million empire. This isn't just another gym glow-up. It's the story of how a kid who felt like a ghost in his own life turned his biggest insecurity into a machine that prints influence, opportunity, and money. To understand how that happened, you have to rewind all the way back to the beginning, long before the viral edits and shredded thumbnails. David wasn't born into some glamorous American fitness story. He came into the world in Estonia in 1998, in a family that had no idea the internet would one day become the bridge between deep loss and global recognition. When he was only 3 years old, his father died in a freak accident, falling from a docked cruise ship. There was no long goodbye, no heartfelt final conversation, just a sudden absence that redefined everything. That kind of loss doesn't leave you with clear memories. It leaves you with an atmosphere of instability, a quiet sense that the ground under your life isn't solid. His mother, left alone with a toddler and a future that had cracked open, made a decision that would end up shaping everything that came later. She uprooted their lives and moved to the United States, chasing the idea that even if they had very little money, at least her son would have a bigger field of opportunity. They landed in Atlantic City, New Jersey, where she hustled to keep them afloat, running a small cafe and doing what immigrant parents do: work relentlessly, sacrifice quietly, and hope the grind adds up to something for their kids. Meanwhile, David wasn't growing up as a loud, confident, center of attention kind of kid. He was quiet, introverted, and thin, painfully thin. In school, that combination is like blood in the water. Being tall and extremely skinny didn't make him aesthetic. It made him a target. At first, the discomfort was private. Mirrors, photos, and locker rooms reminded him he looked fragile, not strong. But then the world started to rub it in. The jokes about looking like a twig, the snide comments about his weight, the sideways looks. Little things that piled up day after day told him he was physically below everyone else. On paper, he was just a teenager, but mentally he already felt like he was playing life on hard mode. And just when it seemed like it couldn't get more discouraging, his body threw another challenge at him. While playing hockey, David was diagnosed with scoliosis, a curvature of the spine that can worsen over time, affect posture, and eventually limit movement or cause pain. For a 14-year-old boy who already felt weak, being told that even his spine was crooked was brutal. A doctor didn't sit him down and give him a motivational speech. He gave him a directive: start weight training to help stabilize your back. For most kids, that would have sounded like a chore. For David, it became a lifeline. Suddenly, lifting weights wasn't just about looking better. It was connected to whether his body would hold together in the future. The first steps were anything but glamorous. He didn't stroll into the gym looking like a future fitness icon. He walked in like a scared 14-year-old who knew he looked out of place. The barbells felt heavy in the wrong way, his form was terrible, and every glance in the mirror reminded him how far behind he was. But when you're already the guy everyone laughs at, your ego has less to lose. That's a weird kind of advantage. You're so used to discomfort that pushing through more of it feels strangely familiar. Day after day, he kept showing up, researching, lifting, failing, and repeating. It wasn't a pretty montage. It was boredom and frustration with microscopic progress. But consistency is a slow, ruthless force. When you show up long enough, things start to move. His back muscles thickened, his posture began to improve, and his frame slowly went from breakable to promising. It wasn't overnight, and it wasn't smooth. He battled a weak appetite, had to learn how to eat enough to gain muscle, and had to keep lifting even when progress felt invisible. But the weight room gave him something school and social life never did: clear rules, lift, eat, sleep, repeat. No popularity contest, no politics, just effort and outcomes. Then came the decision that changed everything, turning the camera on. Around the time his progress started to become noticeable, David began recording his journey. For most people, that would be the last thing they'd want to do: document their most insecure phase and publish it for strangers to critique. But he saw those transformation videos that once saved him from hopelessness and realized he could make one of his own. So he compiled footage from many months, cut it together, and uploaded an 18-month transformation video. No marketing team, no agency, and no polished storyline. Just raw proof that a desperate kid could rewrite his body. The internet reacted like it had been waiting for that story. The transformation was extreme. The same tall kid, but now with muscle, presence, and strength that matched his height. The contrast was what made it unforgettable. People weren't just impressed by the physique. They were inspired by the context. Bullying, scoliosis, insecurity, a dead father, and a kid who still showed up enough times to flip the script. Views turned into comments. Comments turned into subscribers. And a community began to form around his channel. He wasn't just lifting weights anymore. He was lifting other people's belief in what was possible. That attention was the seed of his empire. In the beginning, he was just uploading because he loved training and wanted to share his progress. But every video he posted was more than a diary entry. It was an asset. YouTube doesn't forget. A video uploaded once can earn views for years. It brings in ad revenue, new followers, and new opportunities over and over again. As his subscriber count grew and his physique became iconic in the fitness space, brands started to notice. To them, he wasn't just another guy posting workouts. He was the face of a narrative millions of young men connected to. Skinny, insecure, transformed. Sponsorship deals started to roll in. Clothing brands, supplement companies, and accessories all wanted their logo somewhere near his name. He became a sponsored athlete, a fitness model, and a recurring presence in the online lifting world. This is where the empire part really began to take shape. It wasn't just about being paid to wear a logo. He was building a layered system of income. YouTube ad revenue was one stream. Sponsorships were another. Affiliate deals added more. And eventually, he created and sold his own training programs and digital products, turning his experience into something people could purchase and follow. He collaborated with major brands, not only as an athlete, but as a creative mind, helping to shape campaigns and content that resonated with the lifting community. He wasn't just a model in front of the camera. He was part of the brain behind what the camera captured. That jump from being a body to being a builder of ideas is a key reason his influence turned into an empire instead of just a phase. But it would be dishonest to pretend the story is only grind, glory, and bank balances. There's a psychological cost to building your entire life around your body and your image. That honesty becomes another asset. When you share not just your success, but the vulnerability under it, your brand becomes harder to copy. Anyone can post a six-pack. Not everyone can articulate the anxiety and obsession that often come with chasing it. Look at the pattern of his life, and a clear thread appears. He kept taking things that could have broken him and turning them into fuel. Losing his father as a toddler could have been the beginning of a permanent victim story. Instead, it forged resilience and forced his family to chase a new life. From a business perspective, his empire is not one giant company. It's layers of leverage. At the base is his body, the product that first caught attention. On top of that sits his storytelling, editing, filming, structuring videos in ways that keep people watching. On top of that are relationships with fans, brands, and other creators that amplify his reach. And on top of that are the actual money-making vehicles: ad revenue, sponsorships, affiliate sales, training programs, collaborations, and more. Strip away the mystique, and it's a ladder anyone can at least learn from, even if they never hit his level of scale. What makes his journey so compelling is how early it started. At 14, most kids are just trying to survive school. He was learning to push through physical pain, deal with medical news, absorb insults, and still keep showing up to a barbell. That kind of repetition at that young age doesn't just build muscle, it builds identity. He became someone who associated discomfort with progress, not punishment. That mindset is exactly what translates so well into entrepreneurship and content creation. Algorithms, like weights, don't care about your feelings. They reward consistency, experimentation, and persistence. So when you hear the line, from a 98-pound bullied body to a $3 million empire, it's not just a catchy title. It's a condensed summary of a decade plus of micro decisions. The decision to go to the gym even when it felt humiliating. The decision to eat more when his appetite fought him. The decision to turn on a camera and be seen in a state that most people would do anything to hide. The decision to keep posting even when views weren't guaranteed. The decision to move from just being in shape to structuring that identity into real business systems. And here's the deeper takeaway. His story is not about being chosen, it's about choosing. He wasn't picked by genetics to be massive. He wasn't picked by circumstances to have an easy path. He wasn't picked by some talent scout to be a star. He chose to treat his pain as raw material instead of a cage. He chose to treat every rep, every upload, every collaboration as a brick in something bigger. That's what separates guy who got in shape from guy who built an empire. In the end, David Lade's empire isn't just built on aesthetics. It's built on a decision he made as a lonely 98-pound teenager with a crooked spine. I'm not staying like this. Every dollar, every follower, every collaboration traces back to that moment. And that is the real power of his story. Not that he became big, rich, or famous, but that he proved how far a single, stubborn decision can go when you reinforce it with years of action.